Hello friend and welcome back to my channel, Blue Nose Trading. My name is Tori Solis and today I'm going to be testing Carnation Glaze from Penguin Pottery Opaque Glaze series. I'm going to be testing this glaze on 8 different clay body test tiles as well as on a textured white stoneware mug. I'm happy to let y'all know that Penguin Pottery reached out to me and sent me a lot of their glazes to make test videos for the channel. Penguin Pottery is a small clay business located in the northeastern United States. Their glazes come with a lifetime warranty, which is pretty dang cool. Penguin Pottery is a company that works consciously to be as sustainable as possible. I love being able to work with a company that works to make the world a better place to live in. Thank you again, Penguin Pottery. I'm excited to test all of these fun new glaze colors. This is a Cone 6 glaze that's listed as lead-free, non-toxic, and food-safe. Before I use any glaze, but especially a brand new glaze, it's important to make sure that this glaze is thoroughly mixed. To make sure this glaze is well mixed, I'm going to be using my power drill with an egg beater attachment. This is my favorite way to quickly mix up my glazes. It's also important to poke around at the bottom of a glaze jar to make sure there isn't any additional mineral material clumped up down there. These Penguin Pottery glazes always seem to arrive pretty well mixed already, but it's important to go in and give it a mix yourself to ensure consistency and reliability. I'm going to be brushing my glaze onto my test tiles. In most cases, I am brushing on my glazes. This glaze was formulated specifically for brushing. If you want to dip this glaze, Penguin Pottery recommends that you use a dispersing agent like Darvan. I brush my tiles in 1, 2, and 3 coats with the thickest coat at the top of the tile. I fire my tiles hanging on a high alumina rod to see how the glaze will perform on a vertical surface. In this way, I'm testing for running as well. With the thickest coat of glaze at the top of the tile, if the glaze is going to run, it has somewhere to go. This jar didn't specify exactly how many coats to use, but 2 to 3 is generally a good place to start. For this test mug, I'm going to try out 2 coats of glaze. These opaque glazes from Penguin seem to usually do well at 2 coats for me, but I still have lots more of them to test, including this one. I like to test glazes on lots of different clay bodies to get a rough idea of how a glaze is going to behave on different colors or surfaces. Everyone out there is working with different kinds of clay, and maybe one of these tiles can help you guess at what might work for you. As always, I strongly recommend that you make your own test tiles in your own kiln. Fire your tiles exactly how you would fire your normal work. There are a lot of different factors that go into how a glaze is going to turn out. The best way to see how a glaze is going to work for you and your kiln with your clay and your application is to do your own tests. First up, let's look at this textured white stoneware mug. At 2 coats on this white stoneware mug, this glaze is a soft pink that nods off to white. The finish is a clean gloss surface, a good glaze fit. This color is soft, and on this mug there are places where the color came out better than other places. This may have performed better with 3 coats for a more solid pink, although the mottled soft pink has its own nice qualities. On my white stoneware test tile, this glaze is a soft baby pink. It would seem that 3 coats is the trick to a solid, even coverage for this glaze. I also love a glaze that puts off a nice toasty line around the edge like this one does on this clay. Laguna B Mix seems to get an even soft pink at 2 coats from this glaze. The pink is in its full pastel pink power on this clay body. The surface is a great gloss, and this whole tile is a vibe. This glaze on Laguna Frost Cone 6 porcelain seems to have that puffy effect that sometimes happens on Frost. This is still a functional glaze and surface, but it loses that shiny gloss. I see this happen a lot on Frost, and I'm not sure why it happens, but I can only describe the texture as puffy. The speckles on my Trinity Spectacular come through this glaze, though not as robust as they do through some other glazes. The surface here has a great glossy finish, and the color looks great at 2 and 3 coats. Laguna Speckled Buff is still able to push some speckles through this glaze. The fit is great, and the surface is a nice gloss. I think the speckles look best at 2 coats for this one, but it's really a matter of taste. This glaze looks okay on red stoneware. The surface isn't as smooth, and it might work better with thicker application to get that solid pink coverage, or thicker application might make different issues. I need to test it to be sure. This is functional, but it's definitely not my favorite. I was actually impressed with how nice this looks on the Laguna B3 tile. The black still seeps through, but it creates a really nice effect. The pink also holds its own. The surface is functional, there isn't any pitting or blistering on the tile. I'd say this is worth additional testing. You might be able to make some cool pink and black work with this combination. The glaze surface started to get a little stressed out by the Laguna Azabache, but remarkably held its own. I don't hate what's happening here visually, and the surface is workable. This is very impressive because this clay hates 95% of the glazes I put onto it. The last thing I would have expected to work out is a soft pink from an opaque line, but hey, that's why I do these tests. All around this is a sturdy, soft pink glaze. It seems to have varied yet positive results across a wide range of different clay bodies. The tone of pink you get seems to vary from body to body, even between different whites and buffs, so I strongly encourage you to run your own tests before making any rushed commitments to a new glaze. Thank you so much for tuning in this week. I hope you enjoyed learning more about this glaze and can make use of this information in your own studio. If you'd like to help support my channel so I can make more glaze test videos for you, consider becoming a supporter of my work at patreon.com/bluenosetrading. If you'd like to see all of my current available ceramic work, you can find that on my website, bluenosetrading.com. If you want to stick around for a weekly art video, be sure to subscribe to this channel, Blue Nose Trading. I post a full-length video every Friday at 5:30 p.m. Central Time and daily art shorts. Thank you again, Penguin Pottery Supplies, for sending me the glazes to make these test videos for everyone. Thank you for being here till the end of the video. Remember that you have great ideas that are worth exploring. Drink lots of water, and I will see y'all next week.